What's guys with a reaction to the deadly war in Camden, active gang versus 51st, sorry. Someone told me to react to this. I don't know who it was, but big up you, man. Showing support on that. Let's get into it though. I'm seeing a BBC News story, man. This is gonna be mad, I know already.
Two men have been stabbed to death in two separate attacks in Kentish Town in North London last night. The body of the first victim, believed to be in his late teens, was found a couple of hours before police discovered the second victim, who's thought to be in his 20s.
Camden,
was that a Mitch and it was an AK and S45? I think it was them too. RP them, I think.
Heart of fashion and culture in London, with some of the most expensive house prices and biggest tourist attractions in England. And from the outside in, looks like the perfect place to live. But that's what the government want to show you. Once we go deeper into the
voice is quality.
lower income estates of the borough, we start to see a different story. A story of the country's most deprived estates in London being separated from roads of millionaires literally by one street. And how
yeah, man, same with like 1011 CGM, their block. I can't remember what it's called. It's like, is it Powis blocks? It's like they call it P block, but I can't remember what the actual block is called. It's like separate. It's like gentrified the entire area, man. They're pushing low-income families out, and they want as much money as possible. Councils and that, but yeah, man, it's sad. London's getting gentrified. People are getting pushed out further and further. So now people are moving to places like Stevenage, Slough, Milton Keynes, Luton, areas like that, because they can't afford to live in London anymore. Just rich white people, not even rich white people, man, just anyone rich just lives there.
How these estates have created a deadly gang war which has taken over the borough in recent years. But before I get into the video, be sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications. Let's get into the video. To the centre of London, but despite the Camden is a borough in northwest London and is very close to the centre of London, but despite the area being so close to the rich centre of the capital, in the last few years the war in the area has been going brazy. So historically, unlike neighbouring areas like Islington and Brent, Camden's beef situation hasn't been as active as others. But this all changed around 2016 when a man from Camden called Merce had his watch stolen from another man from another area in Camden. After this, there was some back and forth which resulted in a big rivalry in the borough.
This started for a stolen watch, man. It's so sad. It's like 5 to 10 people dead because of it.
Literally between groups of kids that grew up together. One side being gangs built up from a few estates in Camden, which were the Peckwater gang from the Peckwater estate, the QC gang, which were from a road in Camden called Queen's Crescent, and Cumber, which is a gang made
Cumberland Market, man. Okay.
Up from an estate called Regent's Park in Cumberland Market. They linked up together and called themselves 51st, due to their postcodes being in NW1 and NW5, which is where the 5 and the 1 come from. And from the other side of the feud, we have a gang called Active Gang, which some people may know from their songs, and they're from the Agar Grove estate in Camden. And Active Gang are affiliated with another gang called CT1 and NRB, which they all linked up and called themselves 71st. And just like that, the war was now on between 51st and 71st over this watch being stolen.
Yeah, man, I don't think it's some first sort of thing anymore, really. I think it's just an Active Gang thing now. I don't know.
So Camden is actually home to a big Somalian community, with a big portion of them residing in Agar Grove, which is the territory of the 71st gang. Such a big community that the majority of 71st members are actually Somalian. And if you watch one of my previous videos on Mali Strip, Somalian people are people you don't want to be messing with, which you'll understand more in this video.
But man, that's just stereotypical, man. That Somali's the most on it. I think if we're being real, man, people like, I don't want to stereotype, but like Albanians, the Turks, these guys are the ones that, they're not making music for a reason, man. They're out here in the streets like hitmans and that. If I'm being real, they're the most dangerous in London, not like small street gangs like that. But yeah, let's keep going.
And this beef was on go from early. In 2017, two members of the AG gang, which represent 71st, executed a triple shooting on three 51st members. Two of the members ran to a nearby hospital, but while hospital staff was treating the two members, they also called police to the hospital to investigate the situation. Once the two realized the police was called, they didn't even care about their treatment anymore, and attempted to run out the hospital while still having bullet wounds lodged in them. But the police ended up detaining them and arresting them after a struggle between the both. The reason they wanted to run was because all three members are actually wanted for suspicion of grievous bodily harm, which all three were eventually arrested for. Now, of course, 51st weren't happy about this triple shooting, and they were trying to get it back in blood, so they went lurking on the
Brother, man, he used to Dirk and poo shiesty gif, man. This guy's a...
Now, of course, 51st weren't happy about this triple shooting, and they were trying to get it back in blood, so they went lurking on the Aga Grove estate and shot a rival in the face with a shotgun. The rival actually managed to survive and make his own way back to hospital, but this beef...
That's Blitz, isn't it, man? Because I'm pretty sure he got shot in the head and he drove himself to the hospital, man. I think that... I don't want to bait it out, but I think everyone knows who did it, and suspect said in no filter, how you gonna brag about a shitty ass pellet, man? That's true, man. How you gonna brag about that? A pellet, you know?
really
Oh man, this is the thing I hate about like documentaries, man. This advert coming up.
kicked off in a situation that wasn't even...
Brother, man, load. What the hell is this?
Say hello to Webflow, the world's most powerful all-in-one design platform.
I do not care. Let's get back into it, man. Brother, my Wi-Fi is moving slow today, brother. What is this? What the hell? What's happening? Oh, but I don't even know what's happening.
But this beef really kicked off in a situation that wasn't even linked to both of the gangs. So on February 2017, a 16-year-old girl had an Airbnb party in Kensington, West London. You know
Okay, this was the OFB thing, wasn't it? I'm guessing.
those type of parties where a girl invites 7 different types of gangs and asks people to leave their beef at home? Yeah, one of those.
But everyone's been to them, and like at a certain time, you know, when certain people come in, man, like roadmen, whatever, man, gang members, they come in, just the party gets locked up, man. People trying to have fun, and these guys come and just ruin it and try and start beef in the party for no reason, man. So that's some ego problem there.
So at this party, there were people from all over London there, but a few uninvited guests tried to pull up to the party. One of these people being a boy from 51st called Dotty and his friend, who pulled up to the party with a gun and knife looking for trouble. But the night turned...
Yeah, man, I can't lie, he brought it upon himself, coming to a party with a gun and knife. Like, what was you expecting?
left for Dotty and his friend, and ended up with Dotty being chased down by 20 young boys. And when the boys caught up to him, they stabbed him 13 times altogether, which actually resulted in Dotty dying, which 4 16-year-old boys from Hack...
Yeah, man's Boogie B on the right, isn't it, man? That guy's clapped, I'm not gonna lie. Let me not lie.
and Tottenham were sentenced and convicted for.
Violating.
So 51st were mad about this situation, obviously, that their member Dotty was just stabbed to death. So they were out trying to get revenge.
Yeah, man, I've heard about this situation, what happened after, it's very sad.
So they went out for revenge in a stolen BMW and travelled all the way from Camden, northwest London, to Hackney in East London, and then to Tottenham in North London, because that's where the people who killed Dotty were from. But they ended up finding no one from both areas, but they weren't trying to go home without spilling some blood first. So 51st went all the way back to Camden to look for 71st members, and found an affiliate member of 71st called AK and killed him. But they weren't done there. They were...
I've heard he was a civilian, man. I think T-Scam says RP to him a lot, man, so I'm guessing they were very, very close friends. I think I've heard that AK was friends with both sides, so that's why you don't really hear many disses. I think Gutter's dissed him, I think Chinks has dissed him also. It's a bit sad, but I don't know. I don't know the full story, I don't know about his involvement.
Riding for a whole nother 2 hours looking for more 71st members, and found a 71st member called Mitch's little brother. Mitch's little brother attempted to run into a cab and begged the driver to drive him to safety, but...
And that's sad, man. I think this is Sadiq. Mitch and Sadiq passed away, and I think, was it their cousin that also passed away? It's very sad, man.
The driver refused to move, and he was dragged out of the cab and stabbed to death by 51st members.
Yeah, man, it's very easy to put blame on the cab driver, but you don't know what it is like at that point. It's very late in the night, you're very stressed, and you've got this random guy jumping in the back, probably like masked up, whatever, just begging. That's very sad, man. And I'm guessing that cab driver has a lot of guilt to this day. It's very sad.
All within 2 hours of their first murder they committed that night, and 6 members were sentenced to life for these murders. Then on September 4th, 2017, a member from 51st called Flips, and the older brother of the second boy who died that night called Mitch, bumped into each other on Hampstead Road in Camden, and started getting into a little altercation, which ended with Flips stabbing Mitch in his arm, neck and back, leaving the knife lodged into Mitch's bones and murdering him. And
oh my god, he left the murder weapon, man. That is crazy. He left the most vital piece of evidence there. What a dumb guy, man. R.I.P. Mitch. You say arm, back and neck.
Stabbing Mitch in his arm, neck and back, leaving the knife lodged into Mitch's bones and murdering him. An undercover policeman just happened to witness this whole situation and ran down Flips and arrested him. And now Flips is serving 17 years to life for this murder. After this, the beef in Camden went on.
Yeah, man, R.I.P. Mitch, man. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. I don't know what I was gonna say. This is from the Straight Facts video because I remember those hats.
Some serious investigation. Is serving 17 years to life for this murder. After this, the beef in Camden went under some serious investigation by police, and members from all sides started to get taken down for conspiracies, firearms and drug charges, and the beef started to die down a bit. But then 2019 hit, and quite a lot of the members that were locked up started to come out, and taking in consideration that 51st members, just before everyone started going to prison, had killed 3 71st members. 71st members started coming out of prison on some demon time, and were most definitely looking for revenge with no warnings. The first signs that 71st
Oh, what I was going to say is Hampstead Road. That is a site of very deadly stuff, man. That's where I think culprit passed away, RP. I remember a suspect mentioning it on No Filter. Mad 2 murders, at least 2 on that. Crazy.
Prison on some demon time, and were most definitely looking for revenge with no warnings. The first signs that 71st was really back was on a cold Tuesday in February. 1 AM in the morning, a 51st member called Gxng was walking past the Sainsbury's in Camden when a 4x4 crashed into him, and several 71st members jumped out on him like a pack of wolves, stabbing him repeatedly in his head and body, leaving him literally paralysed and not being able to walk. But that wasn't enough for
Left him paralysed, man. Left him a vegetable, man. It's really sad. I have no idea how he survived that many stab wounds. That's crazy.
Repeatedly in his head and body, leaving him literally paralysed and not being able to walk. But that wasn't enough for 71st members. They wanted someone dead for their friends. So on April 1st, 2019, a suspected member of 51st called C-Miz and his cousin were walking down Grafton Road in Gospel Oak, Camden, when 4 71st members jumped out a stolen black car and started chasing them. C-Miz and his cousin split up, but unfortunately the men who jumped out the car locked onto C-Miz, and C-Miz ended up dropping to the ground when the 71st members started to stab him repeatedly with machetes and then run from the scene. After this murder, 71st members made a song called Congo, and the reason why they called it
Yeah, we know why they named it Congo, man. He was from Congo himself, man. 2 smoking arms, man.
Congo is because C-Miz was actually a refugee from Congo after him and his family fled the war from over there, and members repeatedly in their songs Congolese soldiers from Congo after him and his family fled the war from over there, and members repeatedly in their songs say that they get their weed from Congo, not Cali, pretty much just trying to say that they're smoking on C-Miz. And as I said before, the majority of these 71st members are Somalian. So after all this, there was news going about in Camden that 51st members were out on the lurk, and any Somalian they see they're killing.
Heard some really strong intelligence that there is going to be revenge for Calvin's killing, and his friends have literally said they are going to go out and kill any Somali in retaliation. So I just want to make that really clear. This is from a young Somali woman in Camden who's 24 years old, and basically we strongly suspect they're going to go out tonight and kill a Somali,
which is probably a
That is really sad, man. Just national. That is so racist, if I'm not gonna lie, man. They're out on the look for a certain nationality, man. It's coming like Hitler, man, and what are they called? The SS.
We strongly suspect they're going to go out tonight and kill a Somali,
which is probably a bit of a stretch. But on the other hand, 71st members kept saying that they're warring with Jalirs, which is basically the Somalian word
Yeah, man, Jerez. I think that's like a piece of West African descent, like nappy.
On the other hand, 71st members kept saying that they're warring with Jalirs, which is basically the Somalian word for West African people. Because you have to remember, despite Somalians being dark-skinned and African, a lot of Somalians don't really see themselves the same as other black people. So this was kind of...
Yeah, it's really weird, man. That's really weird. They see them more as like Arabs. I don't know, man, because I don't know, man. I'll leave Somalis to decide what they are. I'm not involved.
turned into a race war between Somalian and black people in Camden, which is just all wrong for so many reasons. But 71st weren't happy enough with the killing of C. Miz. They wanted to spill more blood. So August 12, 2019, 6 members started circling the estates of 51st members in a stolen Ford Fiesta and a stolen Seat. When they spotted 16-year-old culprit and other members coming out of a restaurant around 10:30 p.m. Culprit and other members ran to a nearby set of blocks near Euston Road. But 71st members found them later on that night, and 3 members jumped out and chased them down, catching up to the 16-year-old 51st member called Culprit. Culprit was running for his life and literally screaming for help, banging on neighbours' doors to let him in so he could escape his attackers. But when the 71st members caught up to him, 2 71st members held him, while a 3rd member repeatedly pushed a 1-foot-long zombie killing knife through.
Oh my god. Is that the actual knife? Is that the actual one?
71st members held him, while a 3rd member repeatedly pushed a 1-foot-long zombie killing knife through his chest while it was coming out of his back. And when the 71st members were done, the killers were said to be running away after, laughing hysterically, which is what bystanders said. And Culprit, he was just any normal kid from London. He was talented at football, and even
They were laughing, man. That is so tapped. I mean, I got to bless, man. Show some respect to this, man. That is so fucking sad.
even had trials for Southampton Football Club, but started getting involved in the local gang and brushed aside his football.
Yeah, man, you should have stick to the football, man. If you're talented in that, I don't understand why you would ever go to the roads unless you were released and you just had nothing left. You just demotivated, I guess.
Even had trials for Southampton Football Club, but started getting involved in the local gang and brushed aside his football, and unfortunately became a victim of the street.
That guy's younger than me and he passed away, man. RIP him, man. That's crazy. I think he was 16 or 17, I think they said.
Now, as these back and forths normally go, 51st were now looking for revenge on their recent L's, and there were many stabbings across the month. And early on in September, there was a case of 3 killings in 5 days in Camden. One of the
3 killings in 5 days. Oh my god.
across the month. And early
That's a Chicago level, man.
on in September, there was a case of 3 killings in 5 days in Camden. One of these being a man from a completely different area all the way in East London. But unfortunately, he was walking at the wrong place at the wrong time. So he was actually walking on Queen's Crescent Estate, which is a hotspot for 51st members, and was shot and killed in a drive-by, being mistaken for a 51st member. Just an hour before, another woman was stabbed to death just a few hundred yards from the situation. And 4
RP them too, man. A woman as
4 days
well.
later, a 71st member called Nuts was stabbed to death by a gang of 51st members with
RP nuts, man.
machetes outside one of the busiest areas in London, Camden Tube Station. And for the longest, a lot of people didn't even know all this stuff was going on until a 71st member called Suspect started jumping on the drill scene, calling himself the Camden Grim Reaper, and releasing
But you don't have to bait him out like that.
some of the most disrespectful tunes towards his ops. So much that police take down pretty much any song that the gang uploads, which really started to bring some attention to what's happening down there, and definitely got the attention of me. Especially a song from Suspect called Dugout, which is probably one of the most disrespectful songs I've ever heard, and really makes you deep how tapped this whole beef is. In one of his lines he says,
"Same place we used to play runouts, is the same place his chest got dug out. Same place I was telling you play out, is the same place I'm telling you come out."
which really makes you think, damn, these guys were close friends at one time, and now they're trying to kill each other. All stemming from a little small altercation that happened a couple years back. But anyway guys, that's it for today's video, and peace out.
Man, big up this guy, what's his name? Kid Nerd, man. Big up Kid Nerd for the video, man. That was... Most of that information I already knew, man, but the 3 killings on... Those 3 killings in 5 days, I didn't know that, and that was just sad, man. It's really sad, man. Deadly War in Camden, it's still ongoing, man. I'm hoping it dies down. I'm hoping they just stick to the music. I don't know, man. It's really sad, man. I don't want anyone else to die, but I know, unfortunately, that's going to happen. Nothing I can do to stop that. But yeah, man. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate the support. I'm trying to reach 200 subscribers by the end of July, so I'd appreciate if you could subscribe. Make sure to like the video. Comment down below what videos you want me to react to. Any more documentaries like this? I'm glad to do that. Any songs. And yeah, man, peace. I'll catch you guys in the next video.